Welcome back, everyone. Hopefully you're nice and comfy and cozy and have all of your silky blankets and whatnot with you. I'm going to turn it over to Rachel Blackman.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, Rachel.
So, please take a moment to get yourself comfortable wherever you are, whatever that means for you. I'd like to invite you, if it feels okay, to close your eyes. And notice where you're making contact with the ground. Where are you making contact with the ground? What's the quality of that contact with the ground? Is there a way you can offer yourself a little bit more to that sense of being in contact? And the session today is on taking root and integration. And for me, taking root is a two-way process. So we're at once falling into the floor and the floor's rising to meet us and support us. See if you can get a sense of both. Falling into the floor and being met by the floor. The floor is a constant, reliable place. A supporting offer. Now noticing your breathing. And placing your attention on the exhale. So on the one hand, you're paying attention to something, so it might be slightly different, but we're not aiming to make it different, just notice. Shining the light of your attention on the exhale. And now, ever so slightly, how might you lean into that exhale? Just ever so slightly prefer the exhale. And a tiny little bit more length in the exhale and the inhale. And similarly to how we offered our weight to the floor, we can offer our weight to the exhale. And maybe with each exhale, we can allow ourselves to fall a little bit further, a little bit more deeply. Surrender a little bit more into the floor. And how can the rest of you follow? How can the rest of your body offer itself to that exhale and that reassuring comfort of the floor? Now noticing that space that happens at the end of the exhale. So when you get to the end of the exhale, there's a tiny space before the in-breath happens. You become fascinated with that space, what that space feels like. There's the sighing out, and then there's a place of stillness before the next in-breath comes. I'm going to invite you to think about that space at the end of the exhale as the darkest place in the breath cycle. It's a place of darkness and peace. Kind of like a place of void or emptiness, quietness. Don't overdo it, allow it to be natural. Just allow the space to naturally occur and then the breath to naturally come in. And then noticing, using this image of roots, this image of earth and soil, maybe the planet. Noticing that as you push down into the earth, you're also drawing up out of the earth. And maybe that happens with the in-breath, dropping down into the earth on the out-breath, and on the in-breath, drawing up the nutrients you need, the breath. Taking a moment to place the light of your attention back on this space at the end of the exhale. And I'd like you to imagine that the darkness, this place of darkness, has a quality of nurture and a womb-like quality. It has a enveloping, comforting, nurturing quality. It's soft and inviting and warm. And there's a peace in it. And from this place of peace, perhaps there's a little spark of something that's possible that emerges from it. Maybe not, maybe you're not ready to create a spark yet. Maybe hanging out in the darkness needs to happen for longer. Just explore at your own pace. But maybe there's a tiny little seed of something. What's the quality of this little seed? Maybe it's a tiny spark of light. Maybe it's a physical seed. Maybe it's just a shape. Does it have a color? Does it have some other kind of quality, a density or a texture? And holding this seed, your particular seed, in your mind's eye. Imagine that with each turn of the breath, as it turns from this space at the end of the exhale into the inhale, that you're drawing nutrients up into this seed. Sucking up everything that you need to, this seed needs. Moisture, maybe tenderness. What does your seed need? Maybe it's a loving environment. I love that all life is beget in darkness, that darkness can be a home base, a place of respite. What's your particular seed bursting with? What quality is it bursting with? Maybe it's too early to tell. Where do you feel your seed sitting in your body? Where do you notice it? Mine feels like it's at the kind of the neck of the cervix or the base of the belly. Where do you feel your seed?
I was feeling it just beside my navel, to the right side, sort of pulsing.
And what are the qualities of your seed? What do you notice?
There was something citrusy about my seed.
Lovely.
And it was shaped like a little citrus seed.
Refreshing, did you say?
Yeah, yeah. It had like a citrus shape, like a something from a lemon seed, or it needed a lot of water, like when you said about the water.
What's the feeling of it? What's the feeling of your seed?
Like it's pulsing a signal out, or it's yeah, there was just something that was reverberating out of it, and I don't know what, but I could feel.
When you say that, I see a sonar. I see a ripple.
Yes.
Lovely.
Mm-hmm.
And does it feel like it's in a good environment? for its home for a while.
Protected. It feels very protected. Mm.
Mm. I love the conversation we were having earlier about the definition of safety being about not protection from danger, but moving towards connection.
Mm-hmm. That's the sonar.
Lovely. Yeah. So how can we gather around us these resources to be in connection, right down to the deepest particle of whatever it is we want to create? And how can the thing that we want to create be supported by all of that nourishment? And because it's winter here in the UK, I think a nurtured seed is a really good place to leave this particular meditation in a nurturing environment. Yeah. So take a moment to thank your seed for turning up, and thanking the breath for doing its thing, opening your eyes if it feels okay to open your eyes. Thanks the floor for turning up again. Yeah.
I'm sort of, I have my hands just where I could feel the sense of the seed, and just letting it know I'm not abandoning it.
That's nice.
That's my impulse. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Still have one eye with it and one eye out, one eye in, one eye out.
Yeah, sometimes in social relationships, I'll notice that I'm not breathing.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting as someone who kind of teaches working with the breath to just notice, how do I notice it and breathe? Notice it and breathe. And for you, oh, I'm not on the floor. Oh, I'm not on the floor.
Yeah, I know when I was teaching meditation at the Chopra Center, I would always just use stay, like as if I was training a little puppy. And for myself, you know, and also I would share it with the people in the class. And I would just use that example of just, you know, oh, we go wandering off over here, stay with the breath, or oh, mind goes crazy off onto this tangent and down this rabbit hole, and stay, you know, not with like demanding or forcing, just how you would in a loving way as you're training a puppy. And
yeah, right, because distraction's part of it, isn't it? Distraction's part of the human condition. It's part of it. Part of it.
Yeah. The mind, you know, and the mind can create all kinds of things that that aren't real now, but if we keep imagining them, sometimes it can start to put things in motion. So I really like being able to have my mind as, you know, a working partner, you know, in on the whole thing of my intention and what I feel like, what I'm spiritually compelled to do in a way.
Yeah, in service.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's lovely.
I want to thank you for that lovely experience. It really was, I really felt it right down into the depths of my being, actually. And sometimes my mind keeps me from going there. So I want to appreciate your guidance in that, and inspiring this in this session. I feel as if I've wanting to know more about you and more about your work. And I know I didn't mention it in the beginning, but that you're an embodied facilitator. You do that, some of that training. Can you talk a little bit more about the other things that you do?
Yeah, sure. So with the embodied facilitator work, that's work I do with Mark Walsh. It's a big course called the Embodied Facilitators course, and it's for coaches and trainers who want to learn how to work with the body in professional contexts.
Okay.
It's a really powerful course. It's a really beautiful course. It's 9 months long, and the next one's about to start in April.
Oh, great.
You can find out about, I think there's a link to the Embodied Facilitator course website there.
Yeah,
is my own practice, my own somatic education, and I don't like using the word body work anymore. That doesn't really feel like what I do.
Yeah.
But it's integrative massage and touch, work with touch. And yes, and the still point theatre is the theatre work I do. So lots of different hats.
Yeah, yeah. I remember one of my biggest sort of breakthroughs was when I left the show presenter. It's been temporary. I still do contract work with them, but I de-rolled. I called it, like derobing, but it was de-rolling.
Yes.
I literally took off all the hats, and I really was curious about what was left. Like, who was I without all the hats on? And it was a real discovery process.
Yeah.
And this is how I actually built a nurtured life, because I realized that that is my way of being. I feel like I nurtured people from the time I was very small, and then learned how to nurture myself through my relationships with other people and how they nurtured me. And I was like, oh, there's love in action. I can do it that way.
Oh, that's beautiful. And there's so much, the somatics of that is about possibility and discovery, isn't it? Which is just juicy and yes.
And you can feel it, like your whole system,
your whole being, says yes. Yeah, I was coaching a guy a couple of days ago, and he's a corporate trainer, and he was saying, I want to find a title that's not corporate trainer, because corporate trainer feels like a prison.
Yeah.
And I said, well, you just answered your own question. Like, what are the somatics of the thing you're calling yourself? That's so powerful.
Yes.
Can dare to call yourself a thing if you need to call yourself a thing? Can you call yourself a thing that has all of those qualities that you want to move into?
Yeah. The flavor. Your very specific flavor.
Yeah, exactly.
Or flavors.
Yes.
Great. Well, again, it's been such a lovely time connecting with you, and I would love to spend more time talking to you at a later date and on some project or other. I really look forward to the next time I do get to connect with you.
Yeah, I'm sure we will connect again. And thanks, Shealagh, for getting this together. It's such a lovely idea. Really
Yeah. Thanks for being part of it, for making it what it is.
You're welcome.
And take care of yourself. Have a beautiful day if you can, or, however kind of day you want. Whatever wants to happen. All right. We'll talk to you again soon.
Bye.
And we are going to go into breakout rooms in a moment, so we'll look forward to that.
Okay, great. Bye.
Take care. Bye.